Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Strong and Capable podcast. I'm your host, Brigette Heller, and this week we're going to have a short and sweet message brought to you directly by the divine. Because here's what I can tell you: best laid plans sometimes fall apart. And when they fall apart, there's usually a reason. So every guest I had lined up in the last 2 weeks had to reschedule. And it was pretty crazy to watch it one by one happen. And here's what I want you to know. When your life starts to unravel like that, don't take it as a negative. Don't take it like you're doing something wrong. Take it as I'm going to pause. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to tune into my thoughts. I'm going to tune into meditation and prayer. And I'm going to figure out, is there a signal I'm missing, or is there a message I'm missing? And it might not be that you're missing it, but that you've got to give it, that it's time to move. So for me, instead of sitting back and letting the other guests do the work, the Lord was like, "Hey, Brigette, I need you to share this message." So I paused that. They'll be back, and they all are scheduled and rescheduled so that you can share this message. So that was what happened this week. And it was pretty crazy because it wasn't until just this morning, as I was patiently pausing and listening and waiting for the magical guest or the lightning to strike or whatever, that the message finally came through. So I hope you heard those two things: pause and listen. And then the second, have patience. You are meant for more. If you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're a mover and shaker. It's because you're interested in personal growth and spiritual growth. You're interested in impacting the world for good. And when you're in that line of business, when that's the kind of person you are, you don't get to sit back and do nothing. You have to sit back with purpose. Okay? So sitting back with purpose allowed me to receive this message, and I'm excited to share it with you. So here's the deal. There are different phases of healing. And I'm going to liken this unto dessert and ice cream, because this food is a love language for me. So we all have conditioning, we have situations, big trauma, little trauma. Maybe you were ignored as a child and didn't get the attention you wanted, or maybe you had a really traumatic experience that tainted the way that you see everyone else in the world. Whatever it was, we come into it adults a little jaded, and thinking the world is one way when it actually might be another way. And that's why this whole mindset, heart, spiritual work is so important, because it helps correct our incorrect views by creating fresh views. Again, recreating really the truth. So when you're healing, a lot of times you're coming from a place of unworthiness. I am not worthy of that treat. Or the better one that gets a lot of us is the shame. Well, I could eat that treat, but then I will gain. How much weight will I gain? And I won't have made healthy choices. And people will judge me for what I'm eating. And a lot of our shame has to do with what we think other people think, not so much what we actually think ourselves. And again, that's a conditioning and a programming, because we're viewing the world a certain way that we don't need to at all. We have to release it, but we don't know that. So we're operating from that place. And then you do work. You listen to great books, you listen to podcasts, you go to conferences, and the idea enters your heart and mind that, oh my gosh, you might be worthy. You maybe can have the ice cream. You can maybe celebrate victories. You can maybe own who you are and love it. What? And so then you start actually doing it, experimenting with that. Yeah, I got the ice cream and it felt good. Yeah, I did the thing and nobody cared. And so I get to keep doing it because I want to do it. And now I don't care if they care, because I enjoyed it. Because you're doing this process. So now you're having the ice cream. Hear me say this. This is really important when you're talking about healing. If you stay stuck here, you will overindulge and not become the person you actually want to become. You actually will gain the 70 pounds from the ice cream. Like, that'll actually be a thing. Or if you keep healing, keep growing, that next phase of healing comes with, yeah, I can have the ice cream. I rocked that time on the stage. Or, yeah, I cleaned the whole dang house and worked hard. So, yeah, I can have it, but I don't need it. I don't need that validation. I'm just good with who I am. So that's the next phase of healing. And that when you see people really taking off, really doing great things, really impacting, it's because their wounds, their core hurts have been fixed to the point where, yeah, they know they're worthy, but they don't need any validation anymore. They're at peace. Okay. So we can be at peace in one part of our life, and then another part of our life blows up, and we see all of a sudden, oh, hey, hey, there's some work to do. But the good news is, if you've been doing the mindset work and the heart work and the spiritual work, is that when new stuff comes up, it's not as scary. It could be as intense. You're still going to feel the emotion, but it's not as scary because at least you know you will work through it because you have the evidence already. You've built the muscles, you know you're strong and capable, so you can work through this. And this honestly is where I found myself this week is very much, I like to say I stare at the wall. Like I literally felt like the whole room was spinning around me and business stuff was kind of crazy. And I was just like, what choices have I made that led me to this moment? And it wasn't any necessarily choices I made. It was that it was time to heal a new part of myself. And you will find this when you're like, or when you make a great decision and you're so excited about it and you feel so inspired. And then it feels like your life just falls apart. The house is crazy. The dogs get sick. Someone you love dies. The families are fighting. Whatever it is, it will be intense. The opposition will be intense and it will make you feel like this progress you made, maybe you were lying to yourself and it's not real. That's not true. It is the opposition showing up to tell you you're on the right track. When that opposition shows up, that's telling you your mind's been opened, you're about to level up. And so everything's going to resist a level up. Everything. When you climb to a next step on the stairs, your whole body has to tense up and the muscles have to move differently to make that movement. There's resistance there, right? So every step you take in your journey, there will be resistance too. But it's in the learning and letting go, as my friend Leanna Hunt says, that you find who you really are, that you get to the place you were dreaming of. So the thing that kept coming up for me, kept coming up, kept coming up, kept coming up. This last 48 hours was surrender, surrender. And I kept saying, oh, and every hard thing I've overcome, every wound that I've processed, it's like it's like the thing that I don't want to give up. It's the thing that hurts the most. It's the trust, right? That has kept me safe. If I don't trust people, then I am safe. I will always watch for all the signs that will keep me safe from them. If they start to go away, I'll know it instantly because I was on guard because I didn't give everything. So for me, a lot of it's trust, honestly. That's one of my core wounds that I'm always working on. And every time I think I'm pretty healed and I'm making massive progress, the Lord shows me that there is more to go. There's more to go. There's another layer. And that's how you'll feel. A lot of times when you're in the healing and growing path, you'll be like, dang it, I thought I fixed this. I thought I worked through it. You did. And now there's another layer. So the scriptures kept coming up to me, and I can't believe how many groups I have shared this in the Queen Circle. We talked about it. My clients, we talked about it. It was like everyone needed this message. And it's this I always read the four gospels before Easter because our family's in the Mesa Easter pageant, which is the biggest pageant in the world. It's about the life of Jesus Christ, and it's the biggest pageant. There's a cast of 400 people. I actually did an interview with the director, Jenny Wright Prince. It's in December, season 3. If you want to go check it out, it was a great interview. But I mean, live animals, dancing, it's beautiful. It is an incredible production. And so to prepare for this production, I listened to the four gospels. And the other day I was doing my hair and makeup and getting ready for the day, and I ran across Matthew 19:20. And it's this guy, and he approaches Christ. And this principle, whether you are a scripture reader, Christian or not, this principle works. So please don't tune me out because I'm talking this. So this guy approaches Jesus Christ and he says, I've done all the things. I've kept the laws. I've done all the things you asked me to do. What do I need to do to make sure I get to heaven, basically? And Christ looks at him and, well, the question, let me back up. The question specifically that this man asks is, what lack I yet? In Matthew 19:20, what lack I yet? And Christ looks at him and he says, give up everything you have and follow me. And then the scriptures say he went away sorrowing. So here's the concept. When you are ready to go to a next level, the Lord, the universe is going to demand of you to give up the hardest thing to give up. It might be trust. It might be some kind of financial thing. It might be a relationship that you're holding on to that you shouldn't have been. It might be a habit that you really know you shouldn't do, but it's your comfort habit. It will be things that you thought were just comfortable, not a big deal. No, they are a big deal. That's why you're holding on so tight to it. And that is what will be demanded of you. The price for greatness, for impact, for purpose is the things that you're holding on to the tightest, that you're hoarding away and keeping, that you think are keeping you like, separate from everyone in that way. The thing that you are holding on to the tightest, friend, is the thing you have to let go of. So for me, as I mentioned earlier, this is the whole trust thing. I don't trust people, then I'm always going to be safe. And I'm continually being asked to trust a little deeper, trust a little more. And it's very hard. And I think I got it, but then there's another layer. So the message for you today is that you are not meant for just surviving. You are not meant to get stuck in the middle zone of I deserve this. You are meant to transform. You are meant to, yeah, I deserve it, but I don't need it. You are meant to get to that place where your internal junk is so healed that when you go out and impact in the world, their external junk and internal junk will not trigger you. Not the same way. When you're first starting this work, everything will trigger you. When you get on the other side of, yeah, I could have it, but I don't need it, things don't trigger you. Not the same way. Or if they do, you have quick tools that okay, like the Fresh View Journal. You have tools that you can use that help you snap out of it quickly so that you can move on. And you will prioritize using those tools so that you can keep moving on and you can keep growing and becoming. You are meant to transform. You are meant to become more. You are meant to evolve. And you are meant to change the world for good. My friends, you are so strong and capable. You can do this. But the first question you're going to have to do is you're going to pause in the middle of the chaos when everything feels like it's falling apart. I want you to pause. I want you to meditate. I want you to pray. And I want you to ask the question, what lack I yet? And the answer will come. And it may be giving up something, and it may be doing something. It may just say, forgive, be kind, love. Clean out your house, get rid of the junk that you were holding on to for the thing that you're never going to do. That's honestly a lot of my what lack I yets have come back to. It's time to clean house, whether it's clean a closet or clean up my files or clean up my financials or whatever it is, it's time to clean house. And when you physically release things, that's telling your brain, it's giving it evidence that you're ready to do the next thing because that is no longer an option. So what lack I yet is usually release something or do something. And it will be the thing that either seems ridiculous because you've already done it or the hardest thing. But no matter what, the answer will impact you. It will change you. And that is what I hope you do. I hope that you do this. I would love to hear if you experiment with what lack I yet this week. If you meditate, if you pray, if you come up with things you haven't experienced, please come find me on social media and tell me. I would love to share your victory stories, or even if it's not shared, just cheer you on because it takes courage. It takes courage, dear heart. I love that quote. Courage, dear heart, to go into the storm, to look at the storm and say, I am the storm, and face it, fight it, and overcome it. So be courageous, be strong and capable. You got this.